Imagination. Synonymous with childhood, where it is so simple to inhabit the feelings of others, to recognize and pronounce what is right and what is wrong, what is just and what is unjust. Imagination, inextricably intertwined with its sister empathy, two sacred qualities which give us the impulse to serve others and the passion to live with purpose. Imagination and empathy. When exactly do these go from being our best qualities to useless byproducts of adolescence? So easily forsaken as we build ourselves into a prison of pragmatism, not with walls of stone and wood, but more permanent materials, detachment, delusion, indifference. Layer upon layer, year after year, accumulating until we become middle-aged structures unrecognizable to our younger and lighter selves. A structure where cowardice is framed as prudence, compassion as naivete, and idealism as a danger. Where we board up our windows and doors, not only to protect ourselves from the unknown, but also to keep out the last rays of youthful altruism. As we dread, they will illuminate and expose our current passivity. So these windows and doors remain shut with padlocks of fear and inertia. But there are those that have the courage to pry them open for themselves and for others. And when they succeed, the rest of us begin to see and feel what's possible again, if only for a moment. Inspired, we crack open walls and feel restored when we rediscover our kinder, younger selves that we had concealed. And we imagine a future we embraced as children, one of harmony, laughter, and peace. This rehabilitation is not for the faint of heart. Whether it's rebuilding a mill, a company culture, a planet at the brink, or one's own soul, the soft skills of resilience, effort, and communication are all critical. And these are the traits we work to instill in students at Friends Forever International. But there is one trait, optimism, this most intangible of qualities that is fueled by imagination. That, above all others, is essential. No vision worth realizing will happen without it. People ask, how can we retain optimism at a time that seems completely devoid of humanity? At a time when the question of nationality comes up silently or said aloud before we decide whether there is a rational excuse for a child's death. At a time when there is heart-numbing lack of empathy for those other children, whether they are living in a poor rural town, on the streets of an inner city, trekking on their mother's back through the jungle, or in a faraway desert. It is easy to be despondent, but at FFI we remain hopeful. We remain hopeful because we spend every day with young people whose sense of justice, fairness, and innocent love vastly outweighs the cynicism, apathy, and callousness that is delivered upon us through the bureaucratic burden of adulthood and our avoidance of discomfort. Listen, we are far from believing that every opinion and action held or taken by a young person is perfect or justified. We also honor the wisdom that grows with the experience and insight that only comes with age. However, the pure empathy that drives many of these youth must be encouraged and cultivated, not mocked and suppressed. You are in this room. You also feel that our community, country, and the rest of the planet needs empathetic leaders whose primary desire to lead is born from their willingness to be bravely vulnerable and truly imagine the pain and suffering of all beings, and willing to do everything in their power possible to alleviate this suffering, even at the risk of losing that power. That is the mission of FFI, to develop thousands of these selfless leaders across the state and around the world. By being in this room, you believe that we must invest in those among us who are willing to risk it all, who will turn an abandoned building bought with $1 and a dream into dozens of communities transformed and thousands of lives made better. Those who question authority, who understand that sometimes we must tear down the familiar in order to rebuild a more graceful edifice, whose commitment to excellence is only overshadowed by their commitment to kindness, and who believe that nothing, no building, no nation, no human relationship is unsalvageable. It is because of Jen, Eric, Luna, and Eileen's efforts to build a better world that we are optimistic. But all of us are the foreman of our reality. All of us are daily constructing lives of service and generosity. And this is why we have hope as well. Look around. The potential impact for positive change in this room alone is significant and collectively greater than you may realize. Tonight is not just a celebration of Jen and Eric. That is not why they agreed to this. Tonight is a reminder for us that only through taking a risk and empathizing with those we despise and distrust will we survive what lies ahead. A reminder to tap into the innate compassion for others we had as children and combine it with the skills and influence we have as adults, and to come together with the spirit of joy and optimism so palpable in this room in order to help rebuild the peaceful and just world we all imagined was possible when we were young. That world is out there. That world is here, in all of us, underneath these many layers, ready to be salvaged and restored. We just have to take the risk and imagine it. Thank you very much for your support.